So in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Andycine X5 5.5 inch camera monitor, and we're going to get straight into it with an unboxing. So the first thing in the box is a quick setup guide, and I'm going to completely ignore it. Now as standard, this camera monitor comes with a hard case, which is really nice to see. And as you would expect in the hard case, it's the 5.5 inch camera monitor. Now what makes this camera monitor quite unique is its metal housing, which is made from aluminum, or if you're from the UK, then aluminium. Now on the underside of the monitor we get a DC out, an audio port, a 1/4 inch mount, and a USB-C port. On the left side of the monitor we get a HDMI in, HDMI out, and a DC in. On the top of the monitor we get a 1/4 inch mounting point and our menu buttons. And on the right hand side we get our power on and off button and another 1/4 inch mounting point. Now my first impressions of this monitor's build quality is it's absolutely fantastic. It really does feel like a high quality monitor. Now included in this kit is an MPF style battery, and that can be charged via a USB-C cable that's also supplied. We get a really nice quality camera to monitor mount, a micro to full HDMI cable, and also a full HDMI to full HDMI cable. So coming in at 190 UK pounds or 190 US dollars, this is a full camera monitor kit and it's ready to go. But let us now take a look at some of the features and tools that are built into this monitor and see if it's good value for money. So by holding in the power button for a few seconds turns on the monitor, and we're greeted to the Andycine X5 logo screen. And again, my first impressions are, wow, it is a really nice high definition screen with amazing colour accuracy and clarity. Now this monitor comes with plenty of features and professional tools built in, and these can be accessed by either pressing the menu button on the top of the monitor or by double tapping the screen itself. You get everything from false colour to vector scopes to focus peaking to histograms to waveforms. Now I'm not going to turn this review video into a tutorial video on all the tools that are built into the monitor, as we would be here for about 3 hours, and this would bore the pants off of most of you. But for those of you that do need to know exactly what tools and specs this monitor has, then I'll leave a link to it in the description section and in the top pinned comment. Now the touchscreen on this monitor is very impressive and responsive. I didn't have to slam my finger into it multiple times to get it to respond to my actions, and all the touchscreen functions are well laid out and simple to find, and all the menu and sub-menus are logically laid out. Right, so far this monitor seems very impressive, but as with all my reviews, let's take it out into the real world and put it through its paces. So okay, we've made it to London with the Andycine X5 camera monitor. Now we're going to be putting it through its paces and we're going to be checking out some of its features. In particular, I've got a list of all the things that I want to check off on it. First is the fan noise. How loud is that fan in the cooling system? Then we're going to be checking the heat of the monitor, its brightness. Now it's a little bit overcast today, so hopefully the sun does break through and we can test its 1200 nits in full bright sunlight. Then we're going to check its glare, its battery life. Now the battery life, what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave the monitor on the whole time that I'm using the camera. I'm not going to switch off the monitor, and I'll let you know how long it lasts. Then we've got ease of use and its general overall performance. So let's get straight into it. Now if you're wondering why we're paying particular attention to the fan noise, battery life and the heat that's emitted from the monitor, this is because I read a review online that said the fan noise was terrible, the battery life was poor, and the monitor got quite warm when in use. So as we cycle between my filming locations, I'm going to keep the camera on as well as the monitor inside my camera bag. This way it should get nice and warm. We'll be able to really test that fan noise and see how warm the monitor gets. Now for those of you who are interested, the setup we're using is the Sony a6700, and we got the Sigma 10 to 18mm with a variable ND filter on the front of it. Now this camera here that we're filming with is a DJI Action 5 action camera. Now as I'm filming my locations, you may notice that I'm doing some weird movements with the camera and monitor. This will all make sense later on in the video, as we're going to be putting together a very short cinematic B-roll of our day out in London, and I really want to stress test this monitor out to its absolute maximum. Now at the moment the battery levels on the monitor are running out slower than that of the Sony a6700, and the temperature of it is perfectly fine, so it's all looking good at the minute, but we will update you as we go along. Now unfortunately the day remained overcast, so we couldn't test out the 1200 nit brightness of this monitor in direct sunlight. Now the monitor doesn't come supplied with a sun hood, which would suggest to me that Andycine are quite confident in the monitor's performance. Normally monitors with 800 nits or above brightness levels are perfectly fine in sunny conditions, and with this monitor's 1200 nit brightness it should be perfectly fine, but I still would have liked to have seen a supplied sun hood. Now if you're wondering why these people are spray painting and not getting arrested for it, well, this is Graffiti Tunnel that's in London, and it's the only street in the UK where you're permitted to spray paint. It also makes for a fantastic photography or filming location. So we've been going for about 2.5 hours now with the camera on constantly and the monitor on constantly, and the camera's down to 20% battery and the monitor's still at 65% battery. Now I've obviously not been recording for the whole 2.5 hours, but I have left the camera on and the monitor on and recording every now and again when I find a good location. So yeah, it looks like you're going to get at least 2 Sony a6700 batteries for every battery of the monitor. Now as for fan noise, there is a little bit of fan noise coming from the monitor. It's very, very slight, but let me see if the Action 5 can pick it up. So that was about as much use as a chocolate teapot, so I re-recorded it. And yep, you can definitely hear a slight buzz, but if you go into the settings on the monitor, you can even change the fan speed or turn it off completely. Right, as the light begins to fade here in London, I think it's time to head home and put together this short cinematic B-roll. Now I'm sure you could do a lot better than I can, but this is just a demonstration of what you can expect using a camera and monitor and how potentially it can improve your filmmaking. So what's my conclusion then to this X5 monitor from Andycine? Well, after using it for the full day in London, I absolutely loved it. The fan noise made by this monitor is the same as 95% of monitors on the market. Unfortunately, most monitors do come with fans to disperse the heat. The battery that comes supplied with this monitor still had 25% battery remaining at the end of filming, whilst the Sony a6700 ate through 2 full batteries. The aluminium housing that protects the monitor does get slightly warm, but nothing outrageous. In fact, it acts as a heat sink to disperse the heat and is beneficial to the monitor, unlike plastic housing. The image quality and clarity from the screen is absolutely fantastic and on par with more expensive monitors. The monitor also only comes in at 249 grams in weight, even with its aluminium housing, which is lighter than some plastic monitors on the market at the moment. The tools and features that are also built into this monitor are everything a filmmaker could need, and I wasn't left wanting. In fact, the only thing that I wish came with this monitor is a sun hood, because even though it's got a 1200 nit brightness level, it would still be nice to cast some shade onto the screen in direct sunlight. When you factor in that this monitor comes in at 190 UK pounds or 190 US dollars, and that includes the hard case, the batteries, the monitor mount and the cables. You really can't go wrong with it. In fact, it gets my highest recommendation. Now, as always, I'll leave links in the description section and in the top pinned comment of this video, so make sure you go check it out. And if you enjoy this type of content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up. That way you won't miss out on any of my future videos. But that's going to wrap up this video. We'll see you in that next video. Thank you very much everyone. See you soon.